I mean, I can understand the Chelsea fans are fearful in the current moment around a certain winger because we have been heavily linked with him in the past weeks, and we might feel this will all just fade away and we will miss out on signing this winger. But when it comes to our owners and directors, we can of course have questions around some signings, but when they are obsessed with a player, when they really want that player to 200%, our owners and director is making sure they're doing everything in their power to get that player over the line. And we have a couple of examples from that. First of all is Enzo Fernandez. That was deemed as impossible to get over the line. I remember Benfica doing everything they can to keep Enzo, but we still managed to get him in the last days in the January transfer window. We had a difficult negotiations with Brighton last summer, but we still managed to get Caicedo, and he didn't go to Liverpool. We beat the competition. We also beat Arsenal to sign Mihailo Mudryk, even though he had a sort of agreement, a personal agreement with Arsenal. So when it comes to our directors and owners, as I said, if they really want a player, they will make sure they get him over the line, and that's why I'm not so fearful that we will miss out on Crystal Palace winger Michael Olise. So we're going to discuss the latest updates around him and our Spanish striker. We're going to talk about an Argentinian Defender, and we're going to finish off the video with Maatsen. So before we continue any further, as usually, if you want to be a legend, make sure you like this video, subscribe to my page, and hit that notification bell down below. Yesterday, Fabrizio Romano came out with updates that Crystal Palace is trying to offer Olise a new contract, and in that contract it will include a new release clause worth £100 million, 40 million more than the current. And it's up now to Olise whether he's going to accept that. And if you're looking into Crystal Palace perspective, of course they're not going to surrender easily. They're going to try and do everything they can to keep Michael Olise at the club because it is their best player. And they know that if they can get him to sign a new contract, other clubs will come after him in the future and could potentially be willing to pay that 100 million release clause. Now, we shouldn't be afraid now. I shouldn't panic because we are in conversations with Palace and Olise now for the past weeks, and there are also updates around a journalist called Nicole Shira that mentioning that Olise has already reached an agreement in principle with Chelsea, and Chelsea is continuing to pushing to try and close the deal as soon as possible. If Olise has already reached an agreement in principle, the only thing we need to do now is come to terms with a fee with Crystal Palace. So we're gonna get into that. Coming here from Standard Sport first. Michael Olise has a release clause in the region of £60 million. We know that. But it's said to be complex and involves a sell-on fee direct to the player. Crystal Palace may prefer to negotiate, and Chelsea hope to make inroads with Chalobah as a make-weight. I think this is interesting. If we offering like £60 million, and even if it's complex, we can add add-ons. We can also add Chalobah in that mix because we know the owners want to sell him. And that could be a solution because Crystal Palace needs to strengthen the squad. Chalobah is a Premier League defender that is good enough to start, and they have to replace Tosin Adarabioyo as well. So adding Chalobah here could make sense, but it could also make sense adding maybe Raheem Sterling, because that means he will still stay in London and he will get regular game time at Palace. It's whether they want to pay his salary. I mean, Sterling will have to reduce his wage bill, and we know he also doesn't want to leave, so it can be tricky adding Sterling in that conversation. But we have other players that Palace could be interested to get over the line. Castle on Olise continues. The figure that's gone out in media is that the release clause is £60 million. I'm told that it's more than that. There's also been a bit of reporting that it's only accessible for Champions League clubs. I'm also told that it's not restricted to Champions League clubs. I think that's actually deliberate on Crystal Palace part. Journalist is getting some report, they're getting some information, but it still seems to be unclear who can trigger that release clause. I mean, if Chelsea coming in with more money than 60 million, I'm sure Crystal Palace will be willing to accept that, and we have seen that we are able to actually do that. We like to offer more money on the table than what is necessary to make sure we're getting the player over the line. So I'm still confident we can get him. Fabrizio Romano also continues today. Chelsea would be very ready to go to Palace and put down the money for Olise. They see this signing as their obsession. The club are waiting for the player's response in the next day. On Fabrizio Romano's YouTube channel, and One Football is reporting it as well, is that Fabrizio mentioning that it's definitely not over yet and it's getting closer and closer, and that Chelsea is very confident on securing Olise over the line. We are far deep in negotiations, and there is no other clubs. There is a couple of clubs interested, but they haven't come so far in the negotiations, but you never know what can happen. But of course, Chelsea are in deep discussions, and I really believe we will get Olise over the line. So let me know in the comments down below how you feel. Are you fearful that we're going to miss out on him? Honestly, as I mentioned in previous video, this is a guy we can't miss out on. He is a sensational winger. He will make the difference in that final third, and he will slot perfect into Enzo Maresca's system. That is what I firmly believe. Actually targeting an Argentine center back from Boca Juniors, and the guy is only 19 years old. Seems to be this modern center back that is press resistant and can make quick decisions under press, and is very comfortable and has massive composure in the backline and in possession. This guy is a center back for Boca Juniors, and his name is Aaron Anselmino, and Chelsea have made a formal offer for around 13.4 million pounds. They've also offered the player a 4-year contract. Chelsea are also informed about the new release clause for Aaron Anselmino. It could be more than those 30 million, it could be up to 90 million pounds, but Chelsea have genuine interest in the Argentinian center back. As per reports in Argentina, Chelsea are in the race and also aware of the conditions of the deal. So we're trying to secure further center backs over the line. We know we need to replace Chaluba. Our sporting directors and scouts is heavily invested in South American football, and there were reports from Fabrizio Romano earlier this year that in the summer it's going to be busy for Chelsea, and they could target up to 3-4 signings from South America, and it wasn't wrong. We're targeting another South American player here, and I'm sure this will get over the line as well. Got some other transfer news from Spain, and this is coming from Moreto. Atletico Madrid have rejected Chelsea's third offer for their striker Sam Omorodion, and the offer was worth up to 42.2 million pounds. Internal discussions ongoing to make a final bid or move to other options, and there were also reports as well that Chelsea haven't given up. They will continue to make offers, but it's going to be a very difficult task, and the player is keen to remain at Atletico. And this is from Fabrizio Romano on YouTube. It could be another wonder kill with targeting, of course, but paying around 42-50 million pounds for a guy you never heard of, it is a risky move. Is it worth it? I mean, we have Guirassy out there just worth 15 million pounds that you could trigger, and you're having a backup striker for Nicholas Jackson. You can also have Washington being the third striker, getting some couple of minutes in cup games here and there. Atletico wants to sell Morata and invest heavily in this guy and give him game time. They see him as their future replacement for Alvaro Morata. So I'm not seeing this going to happen. It's not worth forcing a move, trying to find the next new striker. Just have a bit of patience, wait to January, wait till next summer. There will pop up some other young ones that we could purchase. It feels like we are just so desperate. It would be better financially to go after a 30 goal striker worth 50 million pounds that is experienced and in his prime currently. Then we have the last transfer stories around Maatsen. It's coming from Fabrizio Romano. Aston Villa are expected to complete agreement on personal terms for Maatsen by the end of the week. And negotiations on the way over a 6-year deal, all progressing well after this 37.5 million pound fee agreed with Chelsea. So we're getting almost 40 million for Maatsen, and Dortmund weren't even willing to pay 25 million pounds. So Chelsea stood strong here and rejected that and waited for other teams to come in and make an offer, and Aston Villa did that because Maatsen is that good. He's young, massive potential, can fill many roles, explosive fullback, now Champions League experience, Bundesliga experience, Championship and Premier League experience, has a massive future ahead of him. So I'm wishing Maatsen all good luck, and that we're getting almost 40 million pounds from him is a very good deal, and we can invest that money into Michael Olise and get him over the line. There is also rumors that we could get a player from Aston Villa to Chelsea too. Some people wish it's going to be Emi Martinez or Oli Watkins. I can tell you that's not going to happen. We're gonna get some under 20-year-old guy we never heard of. Let's be honest. And the video on Cole Palmer. How could Southgate not play Cole Palmer that has 42 points so far? Southgate, man. England should sack him now. They should sack him before the Slovenia game. The guy doesn't know what he's doing. So I'm very sorry for Cole Palmer. You don't deserve it. I mean, England could sub in Wharton, Maino as well, Gordon, but he didn't choose to do that. Crazy stuff. But this is going to be all for the video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. And I thank you so much for watching. Take care, guys, and I'm out. Peace.